Hi, I'm Stephanie and welcome to my channel. So today I've got a bit of a book haul for you and a bit of a, I guess a bit of a blurb and conversation about what's happening in February. So the books that I've ordered, I actually got them by using gift cards, so I actually didn't pay for any of these, which is quite nice for once. So I used points or gift cards and I think I've already managed to use them all up, which was bad. So quickly use them up. But I bought these from either Amazon or Indigo Chapters, and I've got quite a few. I still haven't received all of my books. As I mentioned in one of my other previous videos, we have a huge snowstorm. We've been getting 5 centimetres, 1 centimetre, 10 centimetres, and now we're getting about 25 centimetres of snow, which isn't unheard of at this time of year on the west coast of Vancouver. It's just that we're very similar to the British hemisphere, where we just can't cope with this sort of weather, which makes the rest of Canada laugh at us, which is fine, but we're ill prepared because, well, we don't get it often enough, so we're probably going to get about a week's worth of snow and then it'll probably just go. Anyway, let's get started because I love talking about the weather. It's the thing we do out here. Fishes by V.E. Schwab. I have already started reading this book. I haven't read all of it yet. I've read probably the first chapter. I just wanted to get a feel about what this book is about, but I'm not reading this one for the month of February. It's not on my TBR list, and we shall go into that in a bit later. But what I've read so far is really, really good. I quite like the premise of the story, and I'm liking the two characters that we've already been introduced to. So looking forward to this. I've heard really good reviews on this book. So yeah, let's see where this one goes, because I might get the second one if the start of this book is anything like the rest of the book. Next one is one of my Penguin English Library editions. This one I got from Chapters, and I ordered this online, and this is The Scarlet Letter by Nathaniel Hawthorne. Never read it, don't know much about it. I'm trying to collect some of the English library editions because I've heard that they might be going out of print. So I'm getting the ones that I the ones I'm really interested in. So I've got them on my bookshelf. And what came with this little book was this little pamphlet of all the collectible editions you can get, or at least some of them. So yeah, I really like these books and they're so pretty. Carrying on with the theme of the English library editions, the book box of Sherlock Holmes by Arthur Conan Doyle. And I've watched many of Sherlock Holmes films, shows, programmes over the years, and I thought, well, you know what, I should actually read the book. And I'm surprised, this was about, was this $45? I think this is $45. And it packs a punch. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's 7 books in here. So that's pretty impressive. And what is in here? Let's take a look. So we have the Valley of Fear. We have a Study in Scarlet. We have The Adventure of the 6 Napoleons and Other Cases. I don't think I've ever heard of that one. The Hound of the Baskervilles, the classic. The Sign of 4. And why does it look like a tiger, I wonder? That's like a tiger print, isn't it? The 5 Orange Pips and Other Cases. Don't they have unusual titles? Never heard anything like it. Okay, particularly for thriller and mystery. And the last one is The Adventure of the Engineer's Thumb and Other Cases. Brilliant titles, just awesome. So yeah, so I've got this lovely, lovely collection of Arthur Conan Doyle. And funnily enough, when I used to work and live in London, I used to walk past Baker Street and the building that was once supposedly Sherlock Holmes' home. So it was pretty cool. Next up is Nevermore by Jessica Townsend. And I think this is a junior middle grade school book, and I just wanted a children's book. I love children's books. It just sparks the imagination in a way that adult books and YA books do not. And it just makes me nostalgic for when I was a kid. So I got this one, and I got the second one, which is Nevermore. And this is the hardback. So I got the hardback in this one. I think it's purely by accident. Or they didn't have a paperback, and this is the paperback. So yeah, looking forward to these two. At some point I will pass these to my kids when they finish reading their Harry Potter books, and I think they're going to enjoy these just as equally as I will enjoy these kids books as well. And this is what's going on outside at this moment in time. I don't know if you can see the snowfall, it's just insane. And that's our road out on the street, and the ploughs are coming in, and then it's just been snowed over all over again. And it didn't start out like this morning, it's been snowing constantly since yesterday afternoon. I know the kids went sledding yesterday, just doing this from my daughter's bedroom. Yeah, there's no cars out, or hardly any cars out. And I don't blame them. I was going to go out, and then I just thought, nope, no thank you. Okay, let's get back to the books. So, where was I? I was just popped out for a little bit, and then I was distracted by what was going on outside. It was a bit noisy, and the kids are out there playing and snowball fighting and playing with the dogs, and the dogs are really enjoying it at the moment. Okay, so continuing on. We have The Wrath and the Dawn by Renee Ade. This book is just, I absolutely adore this cover. Okay, so I don't know, I've probably said this in the past, I try not to judge a book by its cover, but I can't help it, and it's probably one of the reasons why I chose this one. But I have heard many good reviews on this book. So I'm going to get this one. I want to read through this one, and it's got these little, I don't know, serrated pages, make it look oldie worldy. Anyway, but yeah, I've heard great things about this book, and that's the inside of the book, and just quite plain inside on the behind the dust cover. But yeah, I think this is going to be a great read. There's the author, and I have great hopes for this book. I'm hoping it's going to be really good. Next book is Dance of Thieves by Mary E. Pearson. I've heard great things about this author, and I didn't want to go and buy a series. I don't mind series, but I like standalone books as well. So I wanted to get one of these standalones. This is probably, I think this is one of her recent books that's recently come out this year. I'd have to check that. But it's got a map inside that seems to be, Mr. Tolkien has a lot to answer for when it comes to books and maps, I've got to say. My little blurb, or my little chat, is going to be about my TBR for February. It is not going as planned. I think I've read probably 2 of the 5 books I had on the list. There might be even a few more or a few less on the list that I had. I'm using my planner that I got from Owl Crate, which is awesome. And yeah, which ones am I meant to be reading? Let's have a look at this, shall we? The Cold in Her Bones, already read that one. I will be giving a review of that one later. Love and Luck, I've started it. Started hilariously funny. I had me in tears at one point. But I haven't finished this one off. My mood just changed, and I just didn't want to carry on reading this one straight away. Fangirl, haven't even started it. It is just sitting on my shelf for whatever reason. I just can't get to this book right now. The Invisible Man, that H.G. Wells, I have started it. I switched that one out for Joseph Conrad, Heart of Darkness, which was a really, really interesting book, and it's been sitting on the shelf on my husband's shelf actually for quite some time, for years actually. It's just a thin book, it's probably about a little over 100 pages, took me a couple of hours to read, got through it, very interesting story, very different from what I would normally read, and I'm so glad I did read this one. There was another one by Jill Mansell, I think it's A Walk in the Park, and then I am currently reading China Miéville, and this is one of my husband's books, one of his reads. He's got a couple of China's books on his shelf. Yeah, he wanted me to read first what is called Pedido Street Station. It's supposed to be a very popular book on for China Miéville. It's quite a big, hefty book, but I just don't feel in the mood to read heavy books or anything that's kind of over about 300 pages. So I am looking at this one. I think it's 205 pages. So I say it shouldn't take me long to read, but I've only read a few chapters of this book, and I'm having to constantly get my dictionary out to read it, which is great because I am learning stuff that most books do not offer, particularly in YA novels. I think YA novels really should expand their vocabulary to help those young adults to extend their vocabulary. But this one is a great read. It's a little bit different. It's very interesting. It is a historical fiction novel, and it's about surrealist art, and it's a thriller. And you've got to kind of wrap your head around on what's going on in this book. But I love art, I love thrillers, I love historical novels that are based around the war, particularly World War II. And this has got words in it that I've never heard of, but you can understand. China Miéville is known for his extended vocabulary. I think that's why he's very popular. He's a multi-award-winning author. So if you haven't read any of his work, you really should. And I think some of his work can be a bit fantasy-based. It can be a bit out there as well. It can be a bit wacky from what I've heard. But if you're willing to give it a go, I think if you like fantasy books, you're probably gonna like his sort of stories. And let me read this little bit. And this is what drew me into this book. And it's a stunning blurb I've ever read. So it says, "In the last days of New Paris, a thriller of a war that never was, China Miéville entwines historical events and characters with fiction, reconfiguring history and art into something entirely new." And it is entirely new, and I'm loving it. And it says something about 1941 and 1950. So you've got the chaos of wartime Marseille, so it's based in Paris, and then you've got 1950, a lone surrealist fighter. And that's where it gets interesting about the surrealist fighter and all the characters he meets along the way. Really good. If you don't like thrillers, you want something a bit fantastical or surreal, because it is surreal, then this is going to be the book for you. But highly recommend China Miéville. I might actually make a point of reading all of his books at some point, just because his language, his style of writing, his language is quite something, and I'm finding I'm not getting that out of some of my books that I've been currently reading, and that's probably why I'm struggling. I think it's a language that I've been struggling with some of the books. That's why I've dropped some of my TBRs. I think I've been wanting to do more classical reading, and I want to do something that's a bit more not intense, but a bit more creative writing, let's say. And this certainly is. So this is what I've been reading, and this is what I'm currently reading right now. Anyway, I don't know a lot about this book. I just know it's about somebody who goes to Italy, she goes back to England, and that's about it really. And it's a romantic novel, apparently. So it'll be interesting to see what goes on with this book, and hopefully I will actually get through some of the books this month, or at least complete them, because yeah, I'm struggling this month. I'm just going back and flicking back and forth to different books, and oh yes, just reminded me. Did and have read The Hazelwood. Yeah, I'll be reviewing that one next time. I do have a few more books coming, and I'm hoping that's not that I'm not going to be doing too many book buying, because I've got quite a lot on my shelf that I just want to get through before I even start looking at other books, and I'm not just going to buy books for the sake of it. So yeah, looking forward to seeing you all next time, and if you've got a snowstorm, enjoy it, make fun, because have fun with this, because we certainly got one. Alright, speak to you soon.